Hi. So today we have a yin practice, which is one of the first practices I wanted to share with you guys, and I've had a lot of requests for it as well. It's definitely one of my favorite types of yoga to be practicing. So now I get to share it with you all. For those that haven't practiced it before, I want to give you a little bit of info. If you have and you know this, feel free to skip ahead a couple of minutes. But a yin practice is very different to a lot of other practices you might be used to. So if this is your first time, you're going to notice that it is completely different. For starters, we're down here on the floor for pretty much the majority of the practice and is a completely passive practice. So the idea here is that we're actually working really deep within the body. So to get that deep within the body, we need to relax at a muscular level so we can actually get in and be working with the joints, the connective tissues, the fascia. And we stay in the postures for between 3 to 5 minutes. I think today will probably be about 4. And the idea is with that, we're putting gentle stress on the joints. It's a regenerative stress. So it's actually a good amount of stress. And through that, we can bring about a lot of healing and a lot of benefits for those parts of the body that we don't normally get to work with. It's also a practice that can be quite challenging on a mental level as well because we're in the postures for so long. So I would just say that this is a practice, and the idea is to sit within the postures, allow yourself to focus on your breathing, and also focus on finding that point within your body that we like to call the edge. And I guess the way to explain it would be that it's a bit like the Goldilocks principle. So you want to feel a sensation, but you don't want it to be too much. And of course, you don't want it to be too little. So if you're not feeling it, you might need to adjust, enter a little bit deeper into the posture. And if it is too much, which tends to happen quite a bit because we're so used to forcing ourselves and try to get to a certain point, maybe we're a little bit more competitive. And so this is a really good moment to start to understand those limits within the body through this practice as well. And it has its foundations in traditional Chinese medicine, and we work with the meridians, which are the channels of energy within the body. So today we're going to be working with the meridian of the heart. And I chose that particular meridian to share with you guys because when this particular organ is out of balance, we tend to feel a lot of emotions such as intense sadness and also this sense of isolation. So I want to practice today that's going to help to counteract those feelings that we might be all feeling at the moment, wherever we are in the world, in different stages of this lockdown in this current moment. So we're going to get started. What we need is plenty of props to help support you. So if you do have bolsters or blocks, that's great. I don't have any of mine with me, so I'm going to use cushions, blankets. You can use a pillow if you want. Anything that you can put underneath your body to help adjust in all of the postures so you can allow yourself to completely relax and settle into each of them. Then put on some comfy clothes. You can even do this in pajamas if you want. Keep yourself warm because your body tends to cool down a little bit more in a yin practice. And then come on down to the mat into a seated position. And we'll get started. So gently close your eyes. Allowing your breath to completely flow through the whole body. Inhaling down to the base of the spine. And exhaling out the top of the head. Feel the contact with the ground beneath you, the sit bones, the sides of the feet, the thighs. And starting to work with the breath to feel into the body. So with every inhalation, notice the spine lengthening, lifting the top of the head up towards the sky. And with every exhalation, start to soften through the body, beginning to let go of any tension, any areas in the body that you're holding on. Starting at the top of the head and working your way down. Relax the forehead. Relax the space between the eyebrows. Relax your jaw. Let your shoulders sink down towards the ground. Let your elbows get heavy. Relax your wrists and your fingers. Relax your hips. Allow your legs to get heavy, your knees to sink towards the earth. Relax your ankles, the tops of the feet, the toes. Staying here, fully aware of your whole body. Noticing how you're feeling in your body today, in this moment. Any areas of tension, where you might feel a little bit more spaciousness, a little less. Just noticing it. Being aware. And then send your attention to your emotional state, how you're feeling mentally, what's going on in your mind at the moment. Maybe it's busy, could be tiredness. Just paying attention, no need to change anything, just noticing how it is. Noticing your breath continuing to flow through your body. And gently open your eyes. And we're going to come into the first posture. So for this posture, we're going to come over onto our knees, move really slowly in between each of the transitions so your body gets used to everything slowing down. Going to bring the toes together. Open the knees out wide. You can take them as wide as your mat if you want to. And then walk your hands out so they're underneath your shoulders. And we're going to take the left arm, draw it all the way underneath the body, extending over to the right hand side, lowering the left shoulder, the left ear onto the mat. So just let your body sink down here, keeping your hips high. Notice how everything is here. Now we're going to feel what works with the right arm. So you can either extend your right arm forward, relaxing it on the ground. If you've got a lot of shoulder tension, you might want to prop it up on top of a pillow just to give it a bit more space. Or you can also take the right hand and rest it on your lower back. Now we're going to be here for 4 minutes. Just allow yourself to gently soften. Keep scanning the body, noticing where your muscles might be tensing, where your muscles are doing any work. And gently allowing them to soften. Paying attention to the sensations within your body and the posture. Noticing the level of those sensations, so always making sure that you're never forcing yourself past your limit. Keep bringing softness to the body, and at the same time softness to the mind, noticing any thoughts and feelings that are coming up for you in the practice, and gently allowing them to soften and release at the same time as you soften the muscles in the body. Noticing how the sensations are changing as you stay in the posture. And on the next exhalation, gently bringing your right hand back to the ground to lift up. Coming into all fours. And we're just going to take a couple of cat-cow movements here. Inhale, looking up to the sky. Tailbone lifts, belly drops towards the ground. Exhale, rounding the spine. Tailbone draws to the ground, chin draws to the chest. Inhaling to look up. Exhaling, looking towards the belly button. Calming back to neutral. And then again, we're going to open up the knees. If you notice that you're on a hard floor, or maybe you've got sensitive knees, feel free to just roll up a blanket or double up a blanket, and you can pop that underneath your knees. And then again, walking the hands underneath the shoulders, and we'll take the right hand underneath the body this time. Allow the right shoulder to come to the ground, the right ear, and then working out which position for your left arm, either ahead of you, resting on a raised object, a pillow or a blanket, or letting it tuck behind your lower back. Again, we're going to stay here for 4 minutes. Notice the difference on this side. Maybe there's a little bit more space, a little bit less space. And keep scanning the body, noticing where you can let go of any tension, allowing the muscles to completely relax. Being aware of the shifting and changing of the sensations. and being aware of your edge. So this limit within your body, a point where the sensations become too much. And just staying a little bit behind that. If at any point you notice that the sensations have increased, you need to gently ease a little bit out of the posture. You can change the angle. You can gently bring your right shoulder a little bit further back towards the center. Settle back into the posture. Notice if that's made a difference. And on your next exhalation, using your left hand to gently press into the ground, coming back up, knees and hands in line below the body, and again just gently moving through some cat-cows. Moving with the rhythm of your own breath. And then for the next posture, we're going to come all the way down onto the ground, belly down. Moving really slowly. Placing the forearms on the mat. So we're coming into Sphinx pose, so we're going to start with the elbows, first of all, just below the shoulders, keeping your hands in line here. You can change the position of your legs, so you might want to open them up a little bit more or bring them together a little bit more. Whichever position you choose for the legs, just allow them to completely relax here. So completely relax the feet, the glutes. And here check in with the lower spine. So check in at the base and see if there's a lot of tension there or if you're feeling the sensations are too much. So you can change that by sliding your arms forward, so moving your elbows a little bit further away, sinking your abdomen a little bit further down towards the ground. So coming into the version that works for you, and we're going to use the support here for the head, so you can allow yourself to relax. Normally I'd use a block and just prop it under the forehead, but today I'm going to get a bit more creative, using a pillow, doubling it up. All I want to be able to do is create a little bit of support so I can just allow the forehead to rest here. Taking the weight of the head. And we're going to stay here for 4 minutes. Feeling the weight of the body falling down towards the ground. letting the spine just drape towards the floor here. You can visualize it almost like a set of Christmas lights from the top of the hair draping down. Keep noticing if you're activating any muscles through the legs, the glutes, and the feet, and just gently release them with every exhalation. Noticing how the sensations are changing. And checking in if it's a sensation that you can continue to breathe with. But being respectful of the limits of your body, so never trying to push it too far. Knowing that you can always change the position of the elbows. Let the belly sink down a little bit more to the floor, and stay there. Gently inhaling, lifting your head up. I'm going to move the support over to the side, and then slowly lower all of the upper body down to the mat. Turning your head to one side, relaxing your arms alongside the body. Staying here for a few breaths. Enjoying this counter pose. After we've been in the postures for these long amounts of time, gently putting pressure on the joints, stimulating the meridians. When we then release and come into these counter poses, the areas that we were putting pressure on act like a sponge, so they just soak up immediately. All the blood gets sent to that area, all the nutrients, hydrating and nourishing. And as you inhale, we're going to come back up. This time we're gently going to roll the body over so you're lying on your back. Plant your feet on the ground. And then gently hug your knees in towards your chest. You might want to rock from side to side, massaging your lower back. And then we're going to allow the knees to fall all the way over to the left-hand side. You can rest your left hand on top of your right leg or your right knee, or you can bring it to rest on your belly. And from here we're gently going to lift the right arm, so taking the elbow ideally above where the shoulder is, and then just relaxing the hand and the forearm. And we're going to stay here. If this is quite intense for you, you can always bring it a little bit lower or prop it up on top of a pillow. Maybe you need the pillow just under your hand. And then you can allow the rest of the body just to sink into the mat. Relaxing your head and your neck completely. Letting gravity do the work here. Feeling your breath moving below your hand if your left hand is resting on your belly. With the next exhalation, gently bring your knees back to center, plant them on the ground, bring your right hand down, resting both hands on your belly. Walk your feet a little bit wider and allow your knees just to fall in towards each other. Staying here for a moment. Enjoying the counter pose. Feeling the movement within your body. And then on the next inhale, hugging your knees in towards your chest, extending your right arm, dropping your knees to the right hand side. You can bring your right hand again to rest on your knees, on your belly, and then working with the left arm again. So taking it up, moving towards behind the head, but just importantly, try to see if you can rest your left elbow above your left shoulder, using the support if you need it with the pillow. If you notice that you're still holding on in the hips because maybe your knees don't quite reach the ground, you can gently place a cushion between them, and that might help you allow yourself to completely let go here in the posture. So just coming back and allowing yourself to stay there. Noticing the difference on this side of the body. Maintaining the stillness. Only allowing yourself to move if you sense that the sensations have either reduced to the point that you can't feel them or have increased and you need to shift and change. And then just again settle into stillness. Very gently, with the next exhalation, release your left hand, bringing it down to your belly. Bring your knees up to center, walking them to the side of the mat, and letting your knees fall in towards each other, resting here. And we're gently going to roll over to the side to just come up to seated for the next posture. We're going to grab a little bit more support. We're going to be lying down on our backs in a supported fish posture, but we want to make sure we've got the chest elevated and open, so the heart center is really lifting up and rising. So I would grab maybe 1 or 2 pillows depending on how big they are. I'm going to double this one up, bringing it down so it really rests just below your shoulder blades. Your sternum is lifted. That's probably a bit high for me. I'm going to take one away. Your sternum is lifted, but the tops of your shoulders come back down to meet the mat. So when you have that, allow your arms to relax. I'm going to come down a little bit so I'm not blocked by all my cushions and blankets. And then bring the soles of the feet together, allow the knees to fall out to the side. And you have an option here to bring a little bit of support. So if, again, your knees don't reach the ground and you need to give them a little bit of support, so you can just release through the pelvis and the hips, prop a cushion or a blanket underneath each one. And here, allow yourself to settle into the posture. We're going to be here for a few minutes. Noticing where you feel the sensations in the body in this posture. Continuing to release, letting go of any tension. Noticing how the sensations shift and change after these minutes in the posture. And with the next inhalation, bring your knees over to one side. Take the support out from underneath you. And then rolling back onto your back. Coming into Shavasana, keeping yourself warm. So grabbing a blanket, putting on some socks, depending on where you are in the world right now. It could be colder or warmer, but just make sure that you're completely comfortable for Shavasana. Allowing your feet to roll open to the sides, creating space between the legs. Give yourself some space between the arms and the body, palms facing the ceiling. And completely letting go here. Letting everything sink into the mat. Total surrender. Enjoying the sensations within the body, the effect of the practice. And just allowing your attention to rest on the movement of your breath in and out of the body, this gentle rhythm. Using it as an anchor. If you notice that your mind starts to attach itself to any thought, then gently bring it back to the breath, staying here. Very gently, starting to bring your awareness back into the whole body. Gently moving your fingers and your toes. Rocking your head from one side to the other. Hugging your knees in towards your chest. And allowing your whole body to roll over to the left-hand side. And very slowly coming back up to a seated position. Keeping your eyes closed. Taking a few long, deep breaths here. Feeling the connection with the ground beneath your sit bones, your feet. And just taking a moment to check in with yourself, noticing how you feel now after the practice. Noticing the difference in your body, in your mind, your emotions. And very gently fluttering your eyelids open, coming back into the room. Thank you for taking the time out of your day to practice, and thanks for choosing to practice together. Namaste. Enjoy the next moments after the practice, taking it very easy, moving slowly, and I'll see you next time. Namaste.